What's going on YouTube? Flashy here. Welcome back to another Modern Warfare 2 video. And today we're actually going to be talking about the campaign. Now, I think first and foremost, the only thing I can say is this campaign is sick. Like, there is really no just blanket statement, real quick. This campaign is absolutely insane. Everything from like over the top insane action sequences to like the tactical breaching and clearing, and then even a sprinkle of like me sitting there thinking, wow, I can't believe they just put that in this game, or that's actually here and we just did that. It really is a blast. All I did was I just turned the lights off, and all night I just sat and I played through the campaign, and I loved every second of it. One thing that I really enjoyed about the campaign was it kind of seemed like it took like some of the great pieces of like Call of Duty 4 and old school Modern Warfare 2 campaign, implemented it into this brand new game while also giving enough new stuff in this game to make it seem like it's not literally just like a rehashing of old stuff. And just to give you guys a heads up, slight spoilers, obviously the campaign gameplay is going on. There won't be anything crazy in there, just pretty much action sequences. And stuff I talk about, maybe like characters that show up or things that you do in the campaign, might be seen as spoilers. So maybe play through it first if you don't want like where and when and who kind of things spoiled. But other than that, I'm not going to be going into like the story or what happened, because I think everybody should really experience it for themselves. It's really cool. But getting into like the characters, dude, seeing some of these characters again was so awesome. Like, yeah, it was probably feeding off my nostalgia of playing Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare 2 back in like 2007 and things like that. But seeing Ghost, Captain Price, Gaz, Nikolai, like things like that, it just was so cool, man. Again, it most definitely is that nostalgia, but just taking me back and like remembering these characters and then seeing them do all this crazy new badass stuff with all this new tech and new weapons and things like that, and these unbelievable graphics. I think that's a great place to start, because the graphics in this game, man, are insane. Whether you're in the game or you're watching a cutscene, these graphics are getting ridiculous. Like, at times, I'm not even gonna lie, not during the in-game cutscenes, but during like the very cinematic focused cutscenes, I literally was sitting there like, dude, it feels like I'm watching a TV show right now. And I think that's great. I think that speaks to the writing. I think that speaks to the story, the characters, the setting, as well as, again, the graphics, man. Like, it was hard for my brain to realize I was looking at video game and not human beings on the screen. Now, I can't speak for how it looks on like older gen consoles or anything like that, but I've had friends that have played through this campaign on like the classic Xbox and things like that, and even they've said, yeah, like the graphics are absolutely ridiculous. So I think across the board, everybody can agree that the graphics in this game are insanely well done. And I did like the writing. Of course, there was some slow points and like some jokes that they tried to implement in between the characters to kind of show like they've been working together for a while and the camaraderie. But other than that, man, the way the story just moved forward and what you were doing, mission in and mission out, it was all so fluid, and I understood why it was we were doing what we were doing. And I think that's really important. But to get into the actual gameplay elements of the campaign, I don't even know how to go about talking about this, because it felt like, okay, so most Call of Duty campaigns, especially if you're playing on like recruit or regular, you can kind of just not pay attention to anything, sprint forward, run and gun, not care about anything, just spray your clip and just move through the level. This game was so much different. I don't even know how to describe it. Like I said, there's so many different points and gameplay elements in this campaign where it kind of feels like it took really cool things from other games, not just Call of Duty. Like, for example, there's one part where, again, I don't want to spoil anything, but it literally feels like you're playing a Far Cry game. I don't know how they managed to do that, but as I was playing through this one level, I was like, dude, this feels exactly like Far Cry 3 or something like that. And then, of course, like I said, they did bring back a lot of really cool moments from old Call of Duty campaigns that everybody loved, and they're iconic. And I promise you, if you're thinking of like 2 different missions right now, you know exactly which ones I'm talking about from the old campaigns. And they bring that back. At first glance, I was like, oh, they're really bringing this back. But then it's so different this time around. Like, it's the same idea. It just feels like a whole new experience, even though we've already done this in the Call of Duty campaign before. And I think they hit the nail on the head with that. And another thing that I really liked about the campaign is it spans across 17 missions, and it really feels like I'm going into 17 different countries and areas and settings and environments. One mission, you're going to be in the mountains of Russia, and then in the next mission, you're in the desert. And then right from there, you're walking the streets of Amsterdam. And then after that, you're doing a covert mission underwater. It's just like all of these different environments lead to such cool gameplay opportunities, and it just doesn't get stale, because the second you're kind of like 30 minutes in, 40 minutes into a mission, it's like, all right, we've managed to get our mission done. Like, let's move into the next mission. It just drops you into another part of the world with a whole different level of objectives and things to do and ways to fight. And every single mission just keeps refreshing. It just keeps feeling more and more fresh. You don't get that kind of burnout of like, okay, I've run and gunned in buildings for the past 6 missions in a row now. It's constantly different, constantly updating, constantly innovating on itself. And I could tell that they had a lot of fun making this campaign. It's really cool to see how all the characters come together, all the plot twists, all the twists and turns in classic Call of Duty style. ones that you think are going to happen don't happen, and the things that you don't think are going to happen. And it kind of just keeps you on your toes the whole time while immersing you in this just unbelievably beautifully created world, while at the same time challenging you, man. I can't tell you. I played through the whole campaign on Hardened. I can't tell you how many times I died. Like, granted, okay, maybe I'm not the best at single-player Call of Duty anymore, but it was tough, man. It was really tough. Like, you had to play tactically. You had to use the gameplay elements that the game was showing you, as opposed to just sticking your gun out and sending bullets down range to get the kills. You really had to figure out what was going on, where you were, and how you're going to get to your objective. And again, like I said, I died so many times. This is probably the most times that I've failed checkpoints and missions ever in a Call of Duty, outside of playing like Veteran Mile High Club on Call of Duty 4. But honestly, overall, there's really no other way to say it. Like, this campaign was absolutely awesome. I think it was one of the best Call of Duty campaigns specifically that they've put out in a really long time, just because, like I said, everything coming together, from the writing, the graphics, the characters, the environments, the gameplay elements, the little gimmicks that like certain missions will have you do to get you through the mission is really cool. And the way everything is kind of weaved together throughout every single mission. Even though it kind of seems like it's all over the place, there's always one singular thread throughout the entirety of the campaign that holds it all together and keeps it making sense. My only gripe, I would say, really, is there were a few bugs here and there. Some that made me have to restart a mission only once, but that was kind of annoying. And then other than that, the ending could have been a little more, I guess, cinematic or grandiose. You know, the game kind of just ended. But at the same time, the entirety of the 17 missions before that were absolutely over the top and ridiculous, especially a few of them. Some of them are like, am I in a Mission Impossible movie right now, or am I just playing a COD campaign? Like, what is going on? So some of them were just completely over the top, and I think that made it so that I wasn't as bummed that the ending wasn't as grandiose as I wanted it. Just because, like I said, every single mission just had just like the most epic moments ever. And most of them happening in-game. Like, yeah, some of the cinematics were really sick, but a lot of the crazy stuff was happening while you're right there in the action controlling your guy. So all in all, if you do have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2022, I would 100% recommend playing through the campaign. Even if you just play through it on Recruit or Regular, it is such a fun story to go through. And just seeing the environments that Infinity Ward has made for us to play through, and these stories that they have for us, it's so worth it, man. It is so worth it. Tack on the multiplayer, which we're going to be talking about this weekend, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. And I think we have ourselves a nice little Call of Duty packaged up, ready to go, ready to release here on October 28th, 2022. But that's just kind of my ramble about the Call of Duty campaign. I literally just beat it, closed the game, opened up my recording, and started recording this, just kind of talking about what I've thought about the game. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please be sure to hit that like button if you did. Let me know down in the comments if you played through the campaign, what you thought about it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.